this video I will tell and show you how to tie up tomato bushes in the ground. Here I have a variety of tomatoes called skaska, and they have already started to fall. It is urgent to tie them up because the moisture on the ground promotes the rotting of the tomatoes, and we will have to throw them away. For tying up the tomatoes you will need sticks that can be cut from a grove or pieces of rebar if you have them. Their length is 1 meter 20. You will also need regular twine, or you can use an ordinary plastic bottle and a paper stapler, which we will cut with a knife. Each tomato bush can be tied directly to an individual stick or to a rope stretched between them. I will show two methods, to the stick and with ropes. Before tying, it is advisable to pinch the bushes so that more nutrients from the root go to the tomatoes. Here on the bush, there is a small shoot. It is advisable to pinch it off or cut it with a sharp knife, but only if its length is 5-7 centimeters. It is advisable to leave a small stump about 1 centimeter long, so that a new shoot does not grow in this place. If the tomato bush is left in such a condition, the tomatoes will start to rot and the branches themselves will take root, and in the future nothing good will come of it. About 70% of everything will rot. It may seem simple, but there are also nuances in this matter. First of all, at a distance of 7-15 centimeters from the tomato bush, you need to drive in a stick or rebar. Right, in this spot. Then, using twine or a plastic bottle, you need to attach this bush to the support. We take a plastic bottle, a sharp utility knife, and cut strips about 1 centimeter wide. Cut this ring in half. You get such a strip. Now lift the bush carefully so as not to break anything, and wrap this strip around the bush and the support bar. Press both parts together and use a stapler to fasten them together. Now the bush is secured. I ended up with this nice tied up tomato bush. As the bush grows, you can tie it higher and higher using plastic strips or rope. If you have many fastening slats, this is an effective method and makes it easy to walk between the bushes. That's why I did this row using this method. This is how I managed to tie up this row of tomatoes in the simplest way. This method is good if you have many fastening slats, but if you have few, then you need to tie them with rope. The next row of tomato bushes I will tie using 2 fastening slats, which will be installed on both sides. In addition, we will need old wire or an old television cable if you don't have long rods or a long slat. We take thicker, stronger rods and drive them in. Also, at a distance of 5 to 7 centimeters from the outermost tomato bush on one side and the other. We take an old television cable, pipe, or wire and tie it to these support fixtures. take twine and tie it at the base of the bush, at a distance of 2-3 centimeters from the ground. We break off all the shoots that come from the ground. We lift the bush and go around in a circle with this rope. And we securely tie it to the upper television wire. And in this way, I will tie up the entire row. Thus, the row is tied up. Ideally, the upper rope should not sag too much, or wire, and you can place intermediate supports so that it doesn't sag too much, and they will be heavy tomatoes. The third method is identical to the second, but I will not use the television wire. Instead, I will use just a twine that is stretched on both sides of the bush so that the tomatoes do not fall. We also drive in 2 stakes to the left and right of the row. And we stretch the twine around the bushes in a circle. We tie it at half the height of the bush. And stretch it along the entire row, trying to lift all the bushes. We loop it around the second stake and lead it back. We gently tighten it and tie it again to this stake. To ensure the bushes do not lie down, it is necessary to place another stake in the center and tie the stretched twine to it. And we throw it over diagonally this twine. This is how we managed to tie up the tomato bushes using this method. Of course, you can also use a special net that is sold in stores and stretch the tomatoes on it, but this method is the simplest and most cost-effective, which you can do yourself.